So it was Peter Dinklage, who is famously known for playing a lot.
Are you thinking you're being recorded right now?
Yeah.
Okay, she wants me to go back and fix something. So let me fix that, and then we'll go back on. So
You think you're being recorded right now? That's so sweet. That's so cute. Shut up. You go first.
Okay, so hi, I'm Reba Hervis, Artistic Director at Overshadowed Theatrical Productions with Rebecca Leland. Welcome to this week's episode from the Wings.
We have some controversy.
When do we not have any controversy?
And it's around a Disney princess.
When do we not have a Disney princess
It's kind of felt like a
controversy?
really recent, fun little trend that Disney has been doing.
Yes.
And it's working. But it's all centered around Rachel Ziggler. And she was cast.
Now, how do we know her?
She was in, I think, like Shazam, I believe it's called.
Never even heard of that.
And she was in West Side Story recently.
Yeah.
So that's how we know her. She got to be the beautiful Maria. But she does not seem like she wants to be in this upcoming
Yeah, that's
Snow
what
White.
I've heard. I've heard that part of the controversy is that she's like having these interviews where she just is bashing Disney.
And like to clarify, she's not bashing modern day Disney. She's actually saying she's so excited what Disney's going to do with this new Snow White, all the changes they're making. It's so amazing because the original Snow White is absolutely out of date, absolutely meaningless. She said things like, it's really creepy, the prince is really creepy, and we're not doing that, and we're changing so much about the script, and we're so excited because, and she really dismissed the old Snow White.
One of the controversies is that it just took 7 parts away from people who could have played it, who don't always have an opportunity, because it's not like everybody can always play a part like this, just like maybe you can't play a part if you're super tall, like Andre the Giant, they used to say, right?
Exactly.
He's not with us anymore.
And it's interesting even why they chose to do that. It was actually a comment by Peter Dinklage, who he's famous for playing a lot of little people parts.
Okay.
And he's one of the most iconic ones. And he made a comment in maybe like an interview, and he said it would be kind of outlandish if they cast a ton of little people. But then it came out later that a lot of people in the industry said, okay, then step aside. There are more of us who would like to play the role.
Right.
So it's almost like it feels like this elitism where he's kind of like, well, I am now the voice for everyone who is like me, and he isn't. It's almost like we're taking away celebrating uniqueness by saying, well, we can't celebrate uniqueness because we have to celebrate uniqueness. And it's like you're swapping it. And it's called virtue signaling. There's a word for it. And it really is, oh, we're doing this. And even like Snow White, we know her to be a very pale girly with dark hair.
I mean,
they cast a Latina.
Because the actual lines of Snow White and the original Grimm brothers or whatever, it was like she was fair as the snow.
Girl had no melanin.
Right,
Yes.
white as the driven snow or something is what it says.
Yes.
Well, so that was the reason they drew her like that.
Correct.
Because of that. Can that refer to something else? Can that refer to a pure heart, and so it doesn't matter what color your skin is?
Right.
100%. So I'm actually not offended by the casting, just like I also was not offended by the casting for Ariel in Little Mermaid, where a lot of people were like, she doesn't look like...
Sure. I would say it's very different because, I mean, I would argue with the mermaid, it's like, mermaids are mermaids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the color of Ariel's skin, or like specifically the color of Ariel's skin was never specified.
Right, but in this
Snow
story,
White.
Snow White.
It's kind of the name.
It could be her heart, though, couldn't
But
it?
it's not. And it's very clearly not. And they're redefining it. And I think...
and honestly, that does bother me. It's like, I think I've said this on here before, that I went to see Goodman Theater's production of A Christmas Carol several years ago. And in the portrayal of their story, they are trying to rewrite history. And so those of us who know the time period, we know that there were certain things that you were honestly put to death for. And I'm not saying that was right, but I'm saying historically, women would not have run businesses at that particular time or have been married to other women.
Yep.
And in their portrayal, they had a Mrs. Fezziwig and a Mrs. Fezziwig. And I was like, you're rewriting history. And it's like, Instead, highlight what you think was wrong about history and say, in this story, it would have been great if women could have been recognized like this at that particular time, but it wasn't. Instead of just all of a sudden making us forget the evils of our time. And I have a problem with that. It's like, I think we ought to know what our mistakes were so that we can be better about them instead of just kind of forgetting that we treated people the wrong way.
Yeah. And I think,
does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. I think that's why a lot of people have an issue with this, because it's, if you never want to do Snow White and the Seven Dwarves because we don't want to cast a girl with light skin because too many women with light skin are being cast, and we don't want to cast little people, then don't do Snow White and the Seven Dwarves.
Right.
Write your own original script.
Right.
And I think that's where I think a lot of people, it's like, well, why are you attacking it? Like, let them do whatever they want to do. But I think it's the argument of, why are you reclaiming something that you, and even a lot of her interviews, and this is also like the controversial, she seems like she kind of hates the story. Like, she even said she really only watched it once when she was younger. She thought it was weird. She's so excited.
And she was creeped out.
And creeped out. And she's excited how they're changing and all these kind of things. And you're like, if your cast isn't even excited about what you're doing, why not write a really cool, Latina-driven, like, film and make a new princess or those kind of things,
or change it. Like, was it Snow White and the Huntress, or there was so they changed the story. You knew she wasn't going to be exactly because it wasn't Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, right? So if you're going to rewrite it, then rewrite it, but don't call it the same thing with the same adventures and everything. You know, don't say you're making the original cartoon better,
because it comes across so badly.
Well, to those of us who are super fans, right? If that is what we are, which I don't think we are. But,
for those of you who are super fans.
Right? It's like, I understand why you would get upset about that. It's the way I felt about Christmas Carol. People are viewing it as a cash grab, is what it's called.
100%.
Just like, I'm just going to get all the money that we can out of this, and this is how we're going to do it. And I think those of us who love the things that we grew up with, then look at it and go, don't just make money off of me again, because you already made a lot of money off of me. And so this is the reason Disney, I believe, is under attack right now, especially to conservatives, because they keep changing and they keep kind of changing. They don't want to be, they want to change the definition of what family friendly is, right? So like, one of the things that people were talking about, and this is like, you have problem with the casting. I don't really. This is what I have problems with. Is that, and it's kind of summed up by Cozy with Angie. She has a massive TikTok following. And she said, criticizing Disney princesses is not feminist. Not every woman is a leader. Not every woman wants to be a leader. Not every woman wants or craves power. And that's okay. You can be who you are as a woman, you know, and some of us like some things and we're made to be something, but we're not all made to be president of the university without, you know, true love, because we don't want a man in our life. And one of the things that she actually talked about is that Disney's willingness to kind of take this classic film and instead, like, say, Snow White doesn't need to find one true love. That's what I have a problem with. Because why are you downplaying that a guy could be important in a girl's life? And that's not something that we should dream about. It also talked about Rachel actually said that, you know, this is going to be a very different one. She's not going to just run around and take care of dwarfs. She's not going to be, you know, have this prince who's going to love her, that she's going to wake up with a kiss or whatever. And what I actually think is then that's bad. It's like, what's wrong with a woman saying, I am happy with who I am. I'm going to live my day with a smile on my face. And if I want to clean up my house, and that's important to me, to be a virtuous woman and take care of these people that God has given me in a hotel to take care of them, the B&B or whatever. What is wrong with that? Why are you degrading what a woman is and making the woman who wants that in their lives seem like that is wrong? And that is my issue.
I totally agree. And honestly, if I'm ever dead and it's going to take a kiss to wake me up, you have my permission. But for all the feminists who don't want that to happen,
And it's okay. Just sleep away.
Sleep away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I think we watch fairy tales, or we should watch fairy tales with the idea that it's a fairy tale.
What?
And so, yes.
It's not real?
And so if I want to dream that there's dragons fighting in the wilderness and that my prince comes and he fights and slays the dragon for me, you don't have to read into it so deeply to say what that dragon represents, or the guy is not stalking you if he's a prince and he comes up to save you and he sees in a magic mirror somewhere that you are a damsel in distress. I want a prince. I want a guy on a white horse. So I think that part of it is, are these complaints valid? Are people just Disney haters, and so now they're looking for all these reasons? Or are the people who are frustrated against the way that Disney is trying to change things and their willingness to kind of frame their classic movies into something different? Is that valid? Is that something we should even care about?
So I think it's a very interesting topic. I would love to know if you guys would support us in saying, yes, you should go see it.
We want to know what you guys think.
Or if you're literally like, don't waste your money. Because personally, even just the description of the film that they had, I would not go see it. Like, just it's not something that I would be interested in seeing.
Totally not interested either in going.
Yeah.
So, but we would do it for you guys. I mean, let's be fair.
Let's be real. Until next time, this is just me.
And me.
Talking to you from the wings.